This is my I'm losing my Carl virginity tonight.
Are you? Popping it?
Popping my
Bit old for that.
Glass of wine.
cherry.
Kiss on the neck.
Yep.
Light a candle.
Football, crazy, chocolate mad. Grab a power pause, play football with the lads. There's a microstar in everyone, a hero in your hands. They're the greatest players from best leagues in the land. Football, crazy, chocolate mad.
Power Pods, put a hero in your hand.
Power Pods!
Welcome to episode 6 of Casual Mode, your weekly jaunt into the news and happenings of the world we are interested in. I'm here with Rihanna's forehead stunt double, my annoying little brother, it's Carl.
That could have gone either way. Right, okay, good, thank you.
Happy with that one. Joining us today, our very first guest on Casual Mode, it is the rambunctious virtual reality royalty, PlayStation's original Sony pony, and someone with a forehead comparable to Carl. It's Laurie. Hello, mate.
Hello. Oh, I've missed those intros.
I have not. I usually risk them and then think somebody's going to get offended, so it's fine. I'm happy that both of you know me long enough. I've got a very interesting fact to start us off today. Are you ready for this?
Let's hear it. Go on.
September 11th, 2001. Al-Qaeda terrorists carry out coordinated suicide missions after hijacking 4 airliners, killing nearly 3,000 people. Fast forward just 19 days later, Diego Maradona dressed up as Osama bin Laden to celebrate his 41st birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not know that. I found that out on the internet the other day.
I had no idea where you were going to go with that one.
Yeah, what were you searching for to find that?
No, it was on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. It was on there.
Twitter.
So I was just like, okay, that's.
I'm surprised on X that they didn't say that it was allegedly a suicide bombing attack.
I don't think Elon's got his talons into.
It was all a hoax. Elon's told me it's all a hoax.
Was it steel beams don't get melted by
jet fuel?
Jet fuel. Yeah, jet fuel. Yeah.
Watch those videos. The new videos that come out.
Zeitgeist.
Yeah, Zeitgeist. Laurie, it's been a while. How's things?
They're very well, mate. Very well.
Good.
I saw you got a new dog.
Oh, yes. I've got a new dog. That's what I was doing. Just before this call, I got a message from you saying, ready to start recording now. I was like, okay, I was just literally teaching the pup to sit. That's what I was doing. That's how exciting my life is now. I'm not making that up either. I was trying to teach him to sit.
Can you say the dog's name? Because I don't know if I pronounced that name right.
Yoshi.
Yoshi. I say Yoshi.
Some people say Yoshi, that's fine.
Okay.
It would have been so funny if you said Dan.
No, it wouldn't.
Dan the dog.
Yeah. I'd say that.
It was a last minute change. I was lobbying for Astro Dog, but the kids were already they were heart was set on Yoshi. They were like, no, his name's Yoshi. The dog we were going to get was going to be called Yoshi for the last 2 years, I think, since my kids all decided that one day we would own a dog called Yoshi. So
you won.
And so it came to pass.
So you won. That's fine. Or the kids won, rather, I should say.
Yeah.
So.
No one loses. Everyone's a winner.
Yeah. He's so fucking cute though. It's ridiculous.
Carl's been watching football, probably still half an eye on it, actually, seeing what the score is.
How dare
his
you?
internet.
How dare you?
Liverpool are playing in the Champions League. Were 1-0 down within minutes because of a Robinson fruit shoot mistake, which is interesting.
No, he's not playing. He's not playing.
Oh, he's not. That's why it was a mistake. Okay.
Yeah, because Slot picked Simicast.
Okay, but Carl's been on the wine, so normally when we have a podcast where Carl's on the wine, his attention span's pretty shit, and he starts making terrible jokes, which is me when I'm sober. So you're in for a ruckus, Laurie.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Well, let's get into it. So
Barcelona again.
Okay, yeah, Barcelona again. Not the Pirate Man. So a little inner joke there. So we're doing a little bit of an interview with you, mate, just to kick things off. I think we're going to make this a habit and ask the same questions of anyone that we bring on. So God help them. Top 3 dinner guests, dead or alive. Who are we saying?
Right, I thought about this. Number 1, Dua Lipa. Big Dua Lipa fan. Big Dua Lipa fan. Yeah, no, big, huge Dua Lipa fan. She's pretty cool. She's a big foodie. She's a good laugh. I think she's great.
Yeah,
big
cool.
Dua Lipa fan. She's hot.
I love how Carl's girlfriend turned up in the background as soon as she said that. She just appeared.
She was like, Dua Lipa.
Who said Dua Lipa?
No,
doing it again.
Not comparable. It's fine.
Yeah. No, everyone takes the piss out of me because I'm like, I thought you were into like rock music and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I am. But I also really, really dig a bit of Dua Lipa.
I do like a bit of Dua Lipa. I did dance to it quite a bit just when I Carl last year. So.
Which one? One Kiss?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's number 1.
Richard Ayardi, because
Oh.
he's a funny man. He's
Advanced.
going to have some good anecdotes. He's done lots. He's done films. He's done TV. He's done travelling.
He'd be on the
done
plane.
video games as well now.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep the conversation going. Like it.
Yeah. And then number 3 in your honour, you two Scousers out of John Lennon, back from the dead. Bring him back. John Lennon. Let's have a good chat to him.
I never know with John Lennon. Like the hype of the Beatles just kind of eludes me a little bit, and I always found them a bit stuck up. But I think it's just when you're from Liverpool, you either go one or two ways. You're a red or a blue, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? You're from the Wirral, Carl, so you can't really sympathise with either.
Well, hold on, what's the other team then? If not the Beatles.
I don't
No
know.
Beatles.
Actually. Nobody talks about them. Yeah, the Mersey Beach. I don't know.
Oh God, what was
We
your band
don't.
called then?
I don't think I should say it on here because I think I offended a Cuban lady when I told her what the name was. So I did, because it was called the Castros after Fidel Castro, and her face dropped, and she was like, "He called a lot of my family." So I don't really know.
Christ.
Let's call editing that part out.
Yeah.
First edit. Okay, so 3 favorite game of all time. I know the answer to this, but I need to ask you anyway.
It is still Cyberpunk.
Doubling down on it, tripling down on it.
Yep, and it's been a few years now as well, so I feel like it's not just recency biased. It's still the
there.
favourite.
That makes it
Yeah.
worse though. If it was recency bias, you'd probably excuse it. But now surely by now you've.
No, famously hated the game at launch, refused to play it, but now they've released the next gen version of it, the version that works. It's a masterpiece in my view.
And do you like the update to it? Recent one, Idris Elba.
Phantom Liberty, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, it's a good 5-10 hour game in its own right. Should have been a standalone game. It's fantastic.
It is on the backlog. Need to go back to it. I don't actually know what your football team is. Next question.
I'm a Blades fan. Sheffield United.
Sheffield United.
Yeah, they've already they've won as many games this season as they did all of last season. So
That's a good start. Fair enough.
well, better than last season was. So.
Why Blades? Why Sheffield?
Because I grew up in Kent where there were no football teams anywhere, and it was only when I moved to uni that I actually had a team nearby that could go and actually see and support. So
Where'd you go to uni?
Sheffield. Well, it was the south side because it could have been, the Wednesday side. It was the Blades side of the city, so they were the nearest team.
There you go.
So
There you go.
but increasingly though, I do find myself supporting Arsenal as well because my son is an Arsenal fan. So we sort of support them together and I try and keep him updated as to what's going on and stuff.
Up the Arsenal. Fair enough.
So if I had to pick a Premier League team, it'd be the Gunners.
Go for the Gunners. Interesting. Favourite bit of tat that you own?
PSVR2. No, it's gaming tat. Probably I got some good Uncharted cufflinks. I won an IGN competition and got to go into their office to play Uncharted 4 before it was released, and they gave me an Uncharted goodie bag. Gave everyone, all the winners, an Uncharted goodie bag, and there was like a notebook in there and a copy of the game, and these really nice cufflinks that have got Sic Parvis Magna on them.
Oh, brilliant.
So,
I
yeah,
never
they're very
knew
cool.
that.
Yeah.
There we go. Learning something new about Laurie. Favourite film or TV show?
This one might be a recency bias, but I'm going to say For All Mankind right now because that's one I've watched recently, and the first few series of that. The latest series of it was not so good. It's kind of dipped in quality, but the first 2 or 3 series of that are like some of the most exciting, compelling TV I've ever seen, and that's on Apple TV.
I can say Apple TV. So it's on the sly, starting to become a hell of a good value proposition, Apple TV.
Yeah.
And I always get freebies for it, even though I've had I think at least a year free of Apple TV at different points.
Yeah, so many options to get it free, isn't there?
Yeah, just buy my new iPhone. So cheap, you know what I mean? And then you get 3 months of Apple TV
Yeah,
for
like
free.
say PS5 you got like free Apple TV for everything.
Yeah.
If you buy anything from Curry's, they give you a free Apple. We have it just because my wife's got an Apple One family plan thing.
Great.
We're at Apple Arcade for the kids. It's great. Apple Music we use as our music hub. We have the extra storage, both of us anyway, because if you've got phones now, you need that. You need the cloud storage. If you had an Apple iPhone for more than a few years, you need that cloud storage.
Just buy a phone which supports SD cards. You'll be fine.
Yeah, but that's boring, isn't it? And it's so convenient to create Apple albums and just share them with family members. I think that's partly the reason why I barely use social media anymore, because we just share the photos using iCloud. It's so much easier.
Google Photos does that as well.
Yeah, but it's not as easy, and it doesn't look as good, and it hasn't got an apple on the back. Okay, best snack and drink for a Saturday evening. Tough one.
I'm not really a TV snacking type person in front of the TV.
You are thin. I will give you that. Yeah, you are a thin man.
I don't tend to that, but I would say if I'm sitting down to watch a film with my boy, we might watch Star Wars or something. A bowl of popcorn. Can't beat just a bowl of sweet popcorn.
Sweet. Okay.
Nice big bowl
Not
of sweet
salted.
popcorn. And drink. These days, I'll probably sit down with a nice glass of red wine. So I'd be joining.
Close.
What type of red wine?
I don't know. I don't really mind really. I'm still
Not fussy. Love it.
fussy. Just nice Merlot or Shiraz. You know.
I'm not a big red wine drinker, but
I used to be, but it's in recent years. I'm just like I can't.
Creeping up on me.
Stuff. Yeah, it does. I think it's one of the things that as you get older, you're like, oh, this is just that nice mellow feeling. It's just.
It was a work meal, and it was like the boss ordered a red wine, and it went really well with the steak, and I was like, I'm in now.
Yeah,
a nice little Malbec. I was like,
nice. Yeah.
All right, mystery question. You ready for this one?
Ooh. No, I'm not, because it's a mystery. So.
It's a mystery.
I'm not ready for this.
Okie dokie. Let me see if there are any appropriate on here that I can actually ask you. Which gaming character would you swap lives with, but only for 24 hours?
Mario.
Just to get to Peach. Okay. Yeah. 24 hours.
Enough, wouldn't it?
Any particular game with Mario in it?
We'll say Mario Odyssey.
I'd probably say the best of Mario.
Mario
Odyssey would be
yeah,
absolutely chaotic.
Hang out with Cappy, you know.
Yeah.
Turn into a Goomba for a bit.
Just morphing into different weird creatures like rockets and stuff.
Yeah, you'd wake up 24 hours later, you'd be like, what the fuck went on there? That was a weird dream.
Yeah. Did I have COVID-20? I have no idea.
Yeah. Did I put my hat on Bowser and turn into Bowser? That game doesn't make much sense, really, when you think about it, how he just throws the hat on someone and then kind of morphs into them. It's all a bit creepy when you think of it.
I'll tell you what is creepy and doesn't make any sense. Microsoft lays off more gaming staff in new cuts over on bbc.co.uk. Xbox owner Microsoft is to cut about another 650 staff from its gaming division in a new round of job losses after its 69 billion acquisition, a merger deal, I should say. Software giant said staff working in mostly corporate and supporting functions worldwide could be affected. It's laid off already 1,900 staff in January, and in May closed 4 studios bought before its purchase of Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard. It's not stopping anytime soon. This seems to roughly be about, in total, and I'm only going basically off the number of staff that it had at the point of the merger, 7 or 8% of the entire workforce now have been let go. That seems absolutely astronomical compared to most other companies that are doing very, very well and making a profit at the moment. I don't think the optics are very good. What do you think?
Carl's watching the football, isn't he?
I'm not watching it. I promise you, I'm not watching the football.
I asked Carl to think and he
I
shrunk the
think
line.
Dan-
It's
Come on,
half time. It's half
You help me,
time.
Laurie. You help me.
I think we can edit out that long pause there, Carl.
Yeah, no, another edit for
I
it.
didn't realize he was speaking to me. Sorry.
I reckon. Well, it's just this corporate mergers, isn't it? Really? They don't need 2 HR functions. They don't need 2 legal teams. They don't need 2 everything else that goes with that in that kind of management hierarchy. Would it be happening so much if Microsoft was selling more Xboxes? Probably not. They've probably got quite an impetus to cut costs and stop hemorrhaging funds and money, because you've got to imagine they're making a loss right now if they're trying to push Game Pass to be widely adopted as much as possible. So they're probably losing money. So they just need to try and sort of stop the leaks and try and control costs, I guess.
I think the only thing that actually made it money was Activision. So it made it profitable. So that based on that merger, that was the only thing that actually kept them above the red line, which is interesting. So, but I'm presuming these layoffs will have been planned, and the decision to kind of stagger them to probably not allow people to publish a number like we're letting 8% of the workforce go right now. I think to shareholders that would be an absolute dire move, and you'd probably see a load of people dumping shares and stock in them. But yeah, I think the decision to do it now is probably cutthroat at best. I don't actually know what a modern Xbox looks like now that it's the size that it is, only because I'm trying to compare it to some things that happen in like the insurance world, which will bore the life out of all of you. But you've had like a very large insurance group called Mark Study buy out quite a lot of different brokers and also insurers, and now it's become that big. They've found it quite difficult to get capacity from foreign markets and plumb money into their UK market. And I think similarly, Microsoft are probably trying to figure out what a modern version of Xbox now looks like, similar to your point, Laurie, of saying, well, we don't need two HR systems, we don't need these guys doing this job over in France when these guys over here in the States are doing it. They're probably just making decisions left, right and centre to try and amalgamate all of that. But it does worry me a little bit that there's not really any positivity coming out of Xbox. All the noise is coming from either Nintendo or PlayStation. Carl, you've got a comment. Come on, mate.
So I was going to say, PlayStation doing like a mid-cycle refresh. Allegedly, the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out. I've not heard anything from Xbox. Are there any leaks?
It's meant to be handheld, isn't it? I've heard.
Well, you sent me a link to that, but I've seen nothing on Reddit since. So I don't know if that was just fluff.
Yeah, there's rumours of a Steam Deck type thing. I think also they might do a Wii U to Switch and just cut their losses and cut the generation early and come up with the Xbox Y or whatever they'll call the next one. Do that in a couple of years. So because Sony won't do PS6 until 2028 now, they've said, or 2027 at the earliest. So if Xbox thinks like it will put out the next console in 2026 and make it like a proper generational leap, that'll be their way of getting onto the front foot, I would guess. And Sony are probably confident and arrogant enough to be like, yeah, no, we'll stick to our original timetable and just give them a head start because it doesn't matter what they do, they're not gonna catch up now.
I mean, based on the price they set, they seem pretty confident. Based on the PS5 Pro's price.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Dan's right. There's not a lot of good stuff coming out of Xbox. Well, from my point of view, they're going to start selling their games on PS5, which is a good development as far as I'm concerned. Because I've got a Series X. It's not very good for playing lots of games on. It's great for indies and stuff, but for the big games like Starfield, it's not a nice console to play that sort of stuff on. So I'm all for them bringing their games everywhere, and I think that'd be great for the developers to make these games for more people to be able to play them, because just no one is buying the hardware anymore, and it's Sony. It's not really good for the market because Sony's not got any competition, and it's leading them to do very annoying things like sell consoles for £700. But it is what it is. It's not going to turn around now. So
well, we're flirting with the topics. Let's jump into it. So I think PS5 Pro. Obviously, we spoke about it last week. Reason I think I reached out to Laurie is that I know him and I are Sony ponies. We absolutely love everything that PlayStation put out. Loza and his PSVR2 podcast as well, and the fact that you guys are still pushing that console and still pushing that peripheral to say, like, yeah, we've still got great games on this while everyone else on the internet's negative over it. I think you're probably the right person to try and justify why somebody would buy this. Because you've been pretty vocal in the WhatsApp group going, I'm going to get one of these day one. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I reckon, if I can. If they are pre-orderable. We might see. I mean,
sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say, didn't they sell out of CD drives on Amazon?
Yeah, all that sold out. I think a lot of people say, "Oh, there's no one's going to buy this," but well, I mean, enough people have bought up all the disc drives that they're now sold out, and you've seen loads of lunatics posting the pictures of their disc drive, like, "Are you ready?" Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like somebody posting up a picture of the Y-fronts before they go on holiday in 3 weeks. So, hey, I'm ready as well.
I mean, it just shows you how it's a weird social media. You get this kind of weird, distorted view on it because, like, 80% of game sales now are digital. So a digital-only console is going to be fine for the vast majority of people, but yet you see all these pictures and the disc drives are sold out. It's just a kind of weird, skewed impression you get of stuff. I don't know. Only Sony's going to know what the actual sales numbers and demand for this stuff is going to look like and things. But I mean, I think they'll be fine. I think there is enough enthusiast base out there with people that spend far more on this building PCs and stuff. I know it's not as
stupid comparison. I think.
Well.
But I mean, people have money to spend on stuff. It's not going to be a mass market market thing. They think they're going to sell sort of 10 to 15 million of these at most. It's not going to be a huge thing. But it's something that they want to make a profit on, so they're selling it for a high price point. It is what it is, really. I don't like the price. I'm not going to defend it, but still.
But what you spend your money on is up to you. That's the thing, isn't it? It's like you buy a new iPhone, and some people prefer to get their iPhone every couple of years, and the upgrade is minimal. It's not much difference compared to the 15, you know, when you compare the 16 to it, or if you're the type of person that likes to get a new motor every year and drive around, you know, in a car that's slightly newer, like whatever your thing is that you want to spend your money on, I don't really got a judgment on it. I think the value proposition that was put together during the video was where I had the problem, because it was just showing you games that have been out for you know, a couple of years side by side on a grainy YouTube video that just did no justice to what theoretically 4K can do.
I mean, in the defense, though, that's a YouTube limitation, not necessarily a PlayStation one.
Yeah, but still very silly to do that in my eyes. Like, how are you showing the quality and the fidelity of it? Plus, the conversations that have happened after it, pointing out that you're not guaranteed to get 4K 60 frames per second. And even then, like, elaborating on that, most people want to get this console for like GTA 6 that's coming out in a year. And again, that's the type of game that isn't going to be able to play at 60 frames per second on a console. It's too big a game. It just won't happen on a PS5 Pro. So it's like, well, what are you buying this console for? That's why I'm still in the middle a little bit going, yeah, I want to get it, £700, say 800 quid with the disc drive on it. But what is the value proposition? It's just a marginal... It's more of a PlayStation 5.1 than a PlayStation 5 Pro to me. But tell me I'm wrong.
There was a video on YouTube by a YouTuber called Jay's 2 Cents, who like does like PC builds and stuff. And he did like a little side-by-side test of what he could get for $700. And he basically built a PC which was comparable in terms of performance. So whereas normally you think you buy a console, developers are kind of building to a certain spec and you're going to get value for money. Actually, the PC alternative that he had was better value. And, you know, when it comes to like rate... No, it was better. It was better in terms of performance. So the problem you've got is that when a PS5 is on a 4K TV, it's not true native 4K. It's at a lower resolution and it's upsampled. Yeah. So what he was doing as a comparison was doing native 4K without DLSS, and then he was adding it in to see like the comparison of frames. He was also doing things like when it comes to ray tracing, apparently, and I didn't know this before I watched the video, but on ray tracing on consoles, it does like ray tracing local shadows, nothing else. But there's like a plethora of different types of different like ray tracing options that you've got on a PC. Yeah. Only one's available on console, so it's not apples for apples. So I don't have an issue with the PS5 Pro. I think if I use the PS5 more, it's in the other room. I used this for FIFA. If I used it more, I'd probably buy it, but don't. And therefore I'm thinking, well, I need to upgrade my PC anyway. Put the money there.
So I think it's slightly unfair to compare it to PCs. And then, yeah, okay, that guy might be able to build something, but for £700, I don't think you can get close if you're wanting to build a PC out.
But he did.
Yeah, but I really don't think he did. What graphics card has it got in there?
It had a 3060 Ti, and it had a 12600 KF, the one which doesn't have an embedded GPU. Mate, I've got the receipts.
If you want the receipts, I want to see them. I want to see it. I've just yet to see it.
I reckon you're overthinking this, because for me, I fucking hate PCs. There is no way on God's earth I'm buying a PC. You could give me a PC and it would sit there unused. The second that I play a game and it tells me I don't have the right drivers installed, I'm just throwing that thing out of my window.
Fair point. That's a fair point. I mean,
never once has the PlayStation ever told me that I don't have the right drivers installed. I can download a game and it will have the latest version and it will
fucking
work.
Annoying when it wants you to update your DualSense though. That's about the only annoying thing that does.
Well, it takes like 10 seconds to...
I know, I'm just like still on
yeah, but like when you do a console update, I mean, you are effectively doing that anyway. It's the same thing, it's just under a different term.
Packaged nicer, I think, and a lot less.
Yeah, the ecosystem is nicer. I get that.
Yeah.
It's like an iPhone, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got no interest in building a PC, making a PC work. I don't want a PC in my living room. I don't want to run a cable through my house like the Video Max.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you basically do this.
My wife would kill me if I did it.
The PS5 is just a PC with an AMD processor. It's an APU. It's an AMD APU in it. It's basically a PC with off-the-shelf components.
Yeah, but they all are.
But with their operating system, that's.
But the GPU is better in this, isn't it, than the PS5? That's the whole point.
Physically, is a room under my TV to put a PC, and it's all like built-in shelving. It just wouldn't work. It's not gonna.
No,
it's not even like I say. It's not gonna happen. There is no chance on earth I'm putting a PC down in my living room.
I think
there's not room for it anywhere.
What I was going to say is that I think it's unfair to compare it to a PC, because I don't really think that's a similar to what Laurie's saying, a sensible argument when you're trying to compare a console. Where I'm saying the value proposition has let me down a little bit is more from the generation in totality. Because like this is the generation beforehand we were getting like 1080p, 60 frames per second on most of the last gen, on most of the tail end of the last gen games that we were getting, and they were relatively good. We were like enjoyable games. You always get things like Call of Duty, I think was referenced on the IGN UK podcast, of like they always get 60 frames per second, great looking games, really good, solid at 1080p. This was the generation that was meant to deliver 4K with 60, and the fact now that we're getting a Pro that isn't guaranteed to do that, to me feels a little bit silly.
I think it's only not guaranteed because you can't guarantee the developer's going to choose to use the resources in that way. I think the intention is that Sony will use it because they make it at 60 frames per second in a low res, and then it gets upscaled by the PSVR to 4K, or an upscale version of 4K that looks 4K. That's the point of it. So they'll run the games in like 800 or whatever, and it will be at 60 frames per second. But yeah, you can't. A developer might say, well, we don't even want to upscale it to 4K. We're going to upscale it to 2K, and we'll spend the money on something else that we can do. So you can't guarantee something. You can't guarantee what devs are going to make, what choices they're going to make. But in theory, I would expect that all of the first party stuff is going to be at that level, and then it's just a question of do they want to focus on resolution or ray tracing, or it's just getting that mix right. But you can't guarantee this stuff. Like there will still be games that don't have it because like how can you guarantee something? It's the developers have got the choices as to what they use the resources for.
Yeah, they have. So I'm probably pick a fight with the developers rather than the actual console manufacturer. So,
but, I mean, to your point about this is the. I'm not going to have a PC. I don't want to buy a Steam Deck because I don't want another ecosystem. I don't have that much time to play games. So when I PS5 I play, it's on every day. If I'm not playing a game, I'm watching something on it. So I've had loads of use out of the current one for the last 4 years. I'll use another one for the next 4 years, and I'll trade the one I've got in. So I'll get a few £100 back for that to put towards the next one. And yeah, like you said, I just because I can, it's like you said, people spend money on a new car every year. Not bothered about that, and people buy a new phone every year, and I've still got an iPhone 12. I'm not too bothered about this stuff. I'll just
bought a new dog. They're expensive.
They're expensive.
Yeah, you're right. Fucking hell, yeah. Yeah, you could buy 2 PS5 Pros. Price of a fucking dog.
What would give you more happiness? We could do a poll.
Well, I don't know. This dog's really fucking cute.
Yeah, I know.
so yeah. It feels worth it to me. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at the moment, and both modes are shit in some way, like fidelity or performance. You either play it at very janky, very jerky. What would that be? Fidelity.
Yeah, fidelity. Yeah.
But if you put performance mode on to get the 60 frames per second, it looks really fuzzy. And like normally, I can't tell. I'll always usually play games in performance mode because I want that 60 frames per second. But with Rebirth's case, the hit to the graphics is so bad. So then when I see stuff like Digital Foundry saying it's night and day, it makes games like Final Fantasy VII, the post patch it makes a massive difference. That's what I need to hear because all of this generation, like you say, it's really annoyed me having to choose between fidelity and performance. Fair enough. And I'm like, I don't want to choose. Devs, you choose what's the right one, and I'll play that. But given the choice, I'm always going to choose frame rates unless it really messes up the graphics. But every time it annoys me, and I'll flick between them just to try and see. Oh, does that look better? Oh, that does look better. But then I start playing it and I think, oh, it's really jerky now, and that's really annoying too. It doesn't feel very responsive, and so I'll always settle on the 60 frames per second mode. And it annoys me that the games could look better, but they don't. So something that just removes that annoyance every time I play these games, which I put hundreds of hours into. For me, it's just like, it's more money than I want to spend on it than I'd like to. But at the end of the day, I still want it. So
and that's the trade-off, isn't it? Like you said, the thing, again, probably distilling down what I said about being a bit let down by the generation. Yeah. It is that choice. Like if you're having to make it between fidelity or performance, like you don't want that because it kind of, the whole point of having a console is that you didn't have that level of flexibility. You were just able to play a game like a developer intended. So it would be quite nice to get back to that. And if something like the PS5 Pro does that for some of the games that you've mentioned, then yeah, maybe I trade in the Series X because I don't use that other than playing FIFA on it. Literally,
it's a good point, isn't it? It's a good point.
Like, what's the point? And then I get rid of the PS5, trade that in as well. That's probably what, 400 quid, 500 quid for the two of them,
and the PSVR2 because that's useless.
Well, that ties us quite nicely into the next one. PSVR2 has been out for nearly 2 years.
That was a joke.
It was a joke, but you know what you like when you've had a wine, so let's dig into it anyway. Another thing that I kind of want to challenge you on is the PSVR 2 to you still a solid proposition 2 years on? And in hindsight, do you think something like the Quest is a better VR headset that has got better longevity now, and you would have waited for it had you known it was going to come out maybe a year after? When did it come out after VR2 was announced? 6 months, 8 months?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like, what's your kind of stance on it coming up to that 2-year anniversary? You're still happy with is it a console or peripheral? I never know. Peripheral.
Yeah. Well, it is its own ecosystem, so it does feel like a console.
Yeah, I agree.
But you just need to access it via the PS5. I don't know, the Quest has got a lot going for it. It's a cool platform. I don't own one, just because, again, limited amount of time. I don't want to spread myself too thinly between all these ecosystems when there's more on PSVR2 than I could ever play. I think it's with VR, you don't need that many games because you don't want to play it like all the time. Just sometimes you're just not in the mood for it, or you don't want to spend more than like an hour or two in it every night before jumping onto something else that's not in VR. So yeah, I mean, Quest has got all the non-VR, the non-gaming stuff, which is quite cool for it. But PS5, it's got that extra power on the PSVR2 that it can give it. There's stuff like Max Mustard, which is a huge game on Quest, really popular game. It looks like Astrobot basically. It's kind of Astrobot but made by an indie, and that's coming to PSVR2, and it's got loads of improvements. It just looks a lot better. They've got the graphics. They've really upped all the graphics. So again, if I can play a VR game, if I've got a choice of playing it on Quest or PSVR2, it's always going to look better on PSVR2, and you're not going to be thinking of batteries. Okay, you've got the tether. I'll give you that, but you've got games like Horizon that are just running out of fidelity you just couldn't get at Quest, and I think with VR it's that level of fidelity. It does make a difference. It does have an impact on stuff.
Did you see the rumours about the wireless PSVR 2 now that the PS5 Pro has got a higher it's got Wi-Fi 7? I saw like some like photo leaks that people had like battery indicators on like some screenshots which had the PSVR 2.
Yeah, I saw that thing. I thought I can't see how that could ever be possible, but I can see if you've got some special new Wi-Fi, then perhaps it could be. I don't know. That would be quite cool. Yeah. Well, I'm not buying another one.
It'd have a battery though, wouldn't it? It'd have to have a battery somewhere, so there'd be more weight to it.
I didn't really find the cables prohibitive on this one, because like the PSVR, I felt obviously it was just too many cables and it felt restrictive, and I always felt I was like getting in the way of them and they're getting in the way of me, like moving around the room. Whereas like VR2, I never really feel bothered by it. Like even some of the like more active games, like I've never really bothered me as much, but I've not worn anything that doesn't have a cable on it, like one of the Quests, so I'd be curious to try that, I think, at some point. But well, look, like in terms of the VR2 then, so the games that you've played recently, any that particularly stand out where you think, you know, that's a compelling kind of title to pick up a VR2 unit, or is there something that you're, like you've mentioned Horizon, is there something that sticks in your mind that's something you have to go and experience on VR2?
Well, it's tough because we've got a lot of big games coming out for it at the end of the year. So you've got Behemoth coming out, which looks like to be a big, as AAA as you're going to get in VR. There's Metro Awakening, which looks like a very high fidelity game, which again is going to look fantastic on that headset. You've got the Wanderer remake as well. So there's kind of 3 big games that are coming out for the platform, and obviously on Quest they've got Batman as well. But on PS2, so you do have some big hit games that are coming at the end of the year. So everyone's like, oh, it's been really quiet. But last year we had Synapse, which is probably the biggest release, the biggest release that's come out for the platform. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we're still waiting for Sony to release some more games for it, other than GT7 and Horizon. It is frustrating, but then either they're not making anything or they're just making stuff and haven't told us, which again, to be fair, is the same as the PS5. They're making stuff for that, but beyond Wolverine, they're being weirdly secretive now. They're just not showing their hand. We're into the second half of the PS5's life cycle now, so at some point they're going to have to reveal the next Ghost of Tsushima game, the next whatever Naughty Dog are working on. They're going to have to release some games in the next 4 years, and I would hope that there's at least a couple of VR games from Sony on there. But for me, the real pleasure of it is just playing all these smaller indie titles that are just really creative and inventive, and just sort of new experiences that I've never really played elsewhere. Like I'm playing a game at the moment called Snow Scouts. It's basically Firewatch, but you're running a ski resort, and it's that same Firewatch gameplay. But playing that skiing in VR is a really fun thing to do, and I've never done anything like it. I'm also playing Moss Book 2 as well, and just Moss Book 1 and 2 are just like...
Yeah, you loved the first one, didn't you?
Magical. Yeah, they are absolutely incredible. They're kind of like a Zelda game. They're amazing. There's like fairy tale, they're beautiful things that I can't get enough of. So, and there's like Sushi Ben, which was a completely mad, crazy game that really just made me laugh more than any game I've ever played. So there's experiences on there that are just you can't get in non-VR. So it's a completely different sort of thing. When I'm playing a non-VR game, it's going to be stuff like playing Jedi Outlaws or Star Wars Outlaws at the moment.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. I tend to just gravitate towards these big action adventure, third-person narrative sort of games. But in
Ubisoft
VR,
games.
There's so much. Yeah, Ubisoft and PlayStation Studios. I'm happy. But for on the PSVR2, there's just because there aren't those big studios making games. There's loads of sort of smaller creative stuff, which I'm really glad to have found and played and we had some really great times on it. So for me, it's absolutely been worth it. I think you need to be willing to try out some of these smaller games, and obviously we're lucky we get given codes for them all, so we get to play them without having to make that investment, which does make a difference. But I could recommend 10 to 20 games that I think I had such a good time with these games that I'm glad I had the headset for. I mean, it is proper expensive. I don't blame anyone for not wanting to buy one. It's again, I get it because I can. I'm just lucky enough to be able to save up and get it, and I wanted to try VR and I wanted to try good VR. So yeah, I'm glad I had it for sure. I'm still looking forward to lots of stuff that's coming for it. I don't blame anyone that takes a different view and thinks I'll just get a Quest. There's more games there, or there's more uses you can get out of it. But yeah, for that high fidelity VR and that access to all that kind of, there's a huge library of really random sort of indie games, quirky games, bizarre things on there. Some more high fidelity stuff is on the way as well. There's not.
I just needed a bigger living room. I think it was just the part that put me off. Is like I wanted a second console so I could have the office up here with the PS5 because I've got it under the desk at the moment because it's just too big and bulky. So I've got a little cradle thing that holds it in, and then have a PS5 downstairs. But even then, I don't think the room was big enough to fully feel comfortable in VR. So I think I need to buy a new house, so we'll do that first. And then I think in terms of the experiences, it's similar to what happened with VR1 because you got a couple of really good AAA kind of experiences on PSVR1, and then it died off from Sony quite quickly, it felt. But then it became this wonderful conduit for like third-party games and indies and things, and like an experimental platform. And I think it was kind of like a similar learned experience for Sony with PSVR2, where they've gone, all right, here's a handful of games that we've created and we put time into from our studios or co-developed, but now it's this thing that you guys can go and experience something a little bit different. You can have that indie experience or that laugh out loud moment, through something that you've never played before. And I remember I was laughing at what's the other one that isn't Beat Saber, the one that's very similar, the Synth Riders, like playing that the first time, I was laughing my head off playing that game, and I was like, this is fantastic. And it's just one of those things that you want to have more and more of those experiences. But similarly, when I played Squadrons on the PSVR1, nearly vomited everywhere. I was like, okay, well this isn't for me, and that kind of put me off stuff like Horizon. So there's a bit of a challenge and a bit of a trade-off. I think I'd still rather have a VR2 headset than something like the weird cranky hanky thingy, like that kind of, what's it called, the Playdate. Rather have something like the VR than that as like a bit of a left field kind of experience machine. So yeah, I think that's where I saw the value in VR2. But Carl, you haven't played anything on it recently?
No, I bought Legendary Tales and I played it 3 times. I think I moved into the conservatory. I moved everything in here. PSVR2, my PlayStation.
Your bed.
I mean, no. Legendary Tales. That is a hardcore. That is a hardcore VR game. That is not. You've got to invest a lot of time in that game. It's not one for me.
What type of game is it?
It's like a Skyrim type hack and slash.
Yeah. Dungeon
crawler, D&D type thing.
Yeah, the videos looked amazing, and I played it and I was like, oh my god, this is quite intense. And I think the problem is I thought my conservatory was big enough that I wouldn't feel like I was constrained by like the environment, which I learned when I played Tennis VR, which is unbelievable. I think that's a great game. But I broke my light in my living room because I hit it when I was doing a serve.
It's hard, isn't it, sometimes?
Yeah. So I thought I'd come in here. But I don't play it enough. There's nothing that draws me in. I think the most fun I've had on PSVR2 is Walkabout Golf.
Yeah, I mean that is fantastic playing that.
It's so good.
Red Matter and Red Matter 2. Really
I feel sick.
those as
I
well.
feel sick playing those. I tried to play them. I did half an hour and I had to sit down.
Yeah,
felt
well, I
sick.
mean that's something you need to build up to. So I've kind of got past any of that. So that is going to be a problem if you
Big man.
if you can't play some of the good games because you can't get over that motion sickness. No, you can do it. Anyone can get over it. I know what you mean. Like, I know that seasickness feeling you get. And you just have to just stop and walk away from it and just come back the next day. It's just really frustrating. But it's that initial. Once you get over that initial sick feeling, it's not a great thing for a medium, is it? If the first time
No,
play,
it's
it just
not.
makes
No,
you
but the
quiet
graphics
and
though
sick.
in those games, the graphics are amazing though. Like they are.
Yeah, Red Matter 1 and 2, and the story they tell is just like being in that story. You feel like you're kind of in Total Recall or something, where you're in this world and you're having the story play out, and you're the star of this adventure. And that for me is the way that it can tell stories and put you in the heart of it. And Call of the Mountain was the same. It's like this is so cool that I'm the one in this story. It's this completely different feeling to playing a normal video game where you're detached from your TV. It's like you were in this world. It's got 100% of your concentration and your attention. You can't sit there looking at your phone or talk to someone else. It's a very kind of solitary type thing, isolating type thing. But if you just immerse yourself in that experience, it's just so cool to do.
Well, you've got me hooked on an idea of Firewatch and snowboard, or not snowboarding, but skiing or whatever it was, sledging or what was it?
Snow Scout, £16. Good,
£16.
good value.
Okay, I'll find out.
But the best PSVR game is GT7.
Is it?
Well, yeah.
I think so. Because because obviously I've got the driving sim rig thing. So like you're there in the car with the glass, like you look like an idiot, but in the game, like you see the dials and like every single car is different. Like there's nothing like in like interface wise where it says shift now. You've just got to look at the dial and if you can go, oh, I'm at 7,000 revs, bang.
Are you there like burning rubber and sniffing petrol just to give yourself the full experience?
Honestly, it's just so good. It's
You
just
had your not your father-in-law, but your girlfriend's dad over at one point. Didn't he try the rig, or did he try the headset as well?
Rig him up.
Yeah. All of them have tried it. All of them have tried it.
Rigged, not rizzed.
We did the Formula One. We did F1 24. It's not a VR game, obviously, but
straight away.
no, it's not a VR game, is it?
No, not VR.
On the PlayStation. So we played it on the telly. So we go around Monza, and I had my settings on. So obviously, Billy Big Bollocks, I've got like all the assists off. So they had no chance. We turned the assist back on. Oh my god, the amount of fun they had on the driving sims.
What track to go around?
Monza.
Nah, I'm with NatWest. So we're going to move on. The most anticipated games for the remainder of 2024 on any platform. So I'll start because my game came out today, which is nice. So the Plucky Squire 2, we're recording on 17th of the 9th. So Plucky Squire came out on everything today and absolutely everywhere. It launched on our favourite platform, Laurie, on PS Plus Extra and Premium, so you can get that for, well, not for free, but you can get that as part of the subscription over there. You know what? It's doing all right on Metacritic. It seems to be hovering around about an 85. I was looking at this before, so let me pull it up.
Reviews, isn't it?
Yeah, 85 is generally favourable, is what an 85 is now. So on PC 85, PS5 is 81, TBD on Xbox and TBD on Switch. I think the only negative about the Switch is it runs at 30 frames per second, but I don't know if it's the type of game that it makes much of a difference of what the graphical fidelity is. But yeah, I'm really excited by it. I'm very happy that I've pre-ordered this on Switch, and then I'm probably going to give some time to this over, well, not next week, but the week after. I've got a couple of good trips coming up. So, Carl.
3-1 Liverpool. Carry on.
Okay, cool. Laurie, are you picking this up, or are you going to wait for a sale? What's the gab?
I'll probably pick it up on sale. I don't have PS Plus Extra anymore at the moment, so I might just wait and play on that at some point in the future. I'll probably buy it on sale, to be honest. It does look like something I want to play. This looks like something I want to play on my Portal, because I am a complete pony. Of course, I've got a Portal. Yeah, I think this would be perfect for a Portal game. Nice curl up in the handheld mode.
Did you ever get a DualSense Edge?
No, I didn't do that.
Lightweight.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. I want to spend £200.
Carl, this looks not very much up your street.
Which Plucky Squire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Plucky Squire.
You bloody squire. You
I'm
cheeky
quite-
devil.
I mean, to be fair, the video you showed me today was pretty interesting. Like the little Pop-up book.
Yeah, pop-up book.
It looks
but
like a really nice idea, doesn't it? It looks like something Nintendo should have made. So
It does, and
Yeah, actually, that's a good. Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, I mean, 85 is a great score, and I think it's their first game that they brought out.
Yeah, they've done well with it. Whoever was in charge of their PR, it's like clear because they had an idea which was so like when you see it on a video straight away, you're like, that looks really cool. That is a great idea. You can jump from 2D to 3D. It's a bit like that Mario Odyssey stage, isn't it, where you can go 2D in that as well. But
you can flip.
But it was cool in that as well. So maybe they've taken that. Maybe that was where they got the idea from, and they just made a whole game out of it. But yeah, no, good on them. It's nice to see a brand new developer. First game, absolutely smash it, knock it out of the park. So whatever they do next, I'm sure will have huge interest as well. Like PS5 2 maybe.
And like you said, you can't move. That'd be actually a pretty cool game in VR, because if you could look down on the storybook while all the things are happening and fold pages, that'd be pretty decent. Carl's been boring and picked a game that he's already spoken about several times in 6 episodes. Dragon Age.
Yeah,
Most
not
anticipated game.
gonna lie, am I? So yeah, it's. I've already been able. We may as well skip over mine, mightn't we?
No, but has any more been released? Has anything else wet your whistle, or is there
No.
you seeing anything different?
There were some previews, wasn't there? Or is that you've talked about the previews that came out?
We
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, we went over the gameplay trailers. I mean, I know it's different. I know the art style is different. It's not really up my street, but I really liked Dragon Age Inquisition, which I know is not the
I've never
favourite.
played a Dragon Age game. I've never played one.
You like Mass Effect, though?
I love Mass Effect. I should have played Dragon Age, but it's just one of the things that I just never got around to. And now like, the series is so spread out, and it's like I don't want to jump into. Where did it start? Was it PS3 generation or was it PS4 that started?
PS3, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to go back and play PS3 games.
Yeah, I remember the white case for number 1, white and red with the front of it. Yeah, I played the first one to death. Absolutely loved it. Played the second one to death. Absolutely loved it. Never played Inquisition.
Great game. Yeah, just because of the romance story with Cassandra, who was a great French lady who loved a good steak.
I'm sure I would love it, but yeah.
Okay, Laurie, your pick.
I went for Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Also out this month, I think.
I've had great fun playing it this week.
Yeah, Carl referencing to the fact
it?
it's leaked online. Thank you, Carl.
Thanks.
It's I really love that Zelda Link's Awakening remake they did in the same art style. But I knew that game, so that is like one of my favourite games. I could play that game with my eyes closed and finish it. So I love the art style, but it wasn't really a new game for me. So to play the game, and a brand new game, which is completely different, and it's supposed to be like a top-down 2D version, but with Breath of the Wild style mechanics. Yeah, I can't wait for this. It's going to be great. I'll play it with my son as well, so we'll play it together, and he'll be doing it. He'll have his save file, I'll have mine, and we'll be like telling each other about things and stuff. So, yeah, can't wait.
Awesome, Laurie, Carl. Tempted by this? Did you ever play Link's Awakening?
This is one of the Zelda games, which is like basically like the harking back to like the SNES versions of the game, aren't they?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
not
I
going
can't
to play
remember
it.
if it's SNES or Game Boy. No,
Not
not
gonna
going to
play
play.
No.
It's a new Zelda game, Carl. We get like one of
What
these.
I'll do is actually, so you can't actually get the ROM yet, but when you can, I'll maybe allegedly download it, and I'll allegedly take a photo of it just to prove that I can do it, and then I'll never play it again.
You never play it again because it jitters. And you're like, it plays well on Switch. I'm like, it's not. It's a jittery mess.
It's not Switch. It's a Steam Deck.
Yeah, it played badly on Switch. It's like Link's Awakening. That played really badly on the Switch.
It didn't play well at all, did it? Yeah, good point.
But no one cares. It's Nintendo.
But I'm probably not going to get that. No.
Okay, thinking of things that segueing rather to things that didn't play well. Liverpool lost at the weekend, Carl.
I know. Yeah, I know. We're
You
playing well
said-
tonight, though, as I've mentioned. So.
You are our greatest hope to stop City this year, and you fucked it.
No. The legal system is the greatest thing to stop City this year.
They're not going to get anything. They won't get anything. They'll just keep lawyering up. They'll just keep throwing lawyers at it.
Quite possibly. Yeah.
Because they can afford it. So Carl gave some predictions, and
They're not good.
we're going to quickly whiz through them. So, Carl, do me a favour.
Do we have to?
Yeah, can you bring up... In fact, I'll bring
Can we
up
not?
results.
Can we not just say that I was wrong on all of them? I think I was wrong on all of them.
I think you were wrong on all of them, but I just want to
I got a point for City Brentford.
So you said Southampton, Manchester United, Man U would win...
Nope.
Southampton would win 3-1.
Yeah.
They lost 3-0.
Yep.
Brighton Hove Albion would win 3-1. It was 0-0 with Ipswich. You said that Crystal Palace and Leicester it would be a 2-1 win to Leicester. It ended 2-2. You said Fulham, West Ham would be a 1-0 win for the Hammers. It wasn't. It was 1-1. I'll leave that one to last. You
Did
said
you get any of these right?
No, I got City. I got City.
Yeah, City Brentford would be 5-1.
And I got Villa Everton.
2-1. Villa Everton would be 3-1, and you did say Everton will score first. Aston Villa won't score until the 60th minute and give the Blues hope. And it ended 3-2 again. Poor Everton.
So good.
You said that Chelsea were going to lose to Bournemouth 1-0. We didn't.
Deserve to though, because they just keep on selling hotels. Carry on.
Okay. Spurs Arsenal. You said Spurs would win 1-0. They didn't. They lost. What score was that one? I can't remember what it was. It was 1-0, ironically, the other way around. And then Wolves Newcastle, you said Newcastle would win 1-0. You got that result right. Newcastle did win, but they won 2-1.
So I got 3 results, no correct scores.
And then the final game, you said that Liverpool would win.
Oh, there we go.
And it would be 3-0 against Forest.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was 1-0 to Forest.
Was it not?
Who won at Anfield.
Are you
Slot ball is here.
Are you sure?
Gentlemen.
Are you sure?
Slot ball is
Carl,
here.
if you can do an accumulator this week and just show me the slip so I can put the opposite bets on, I reckon I'm going to win some money. I think that's quite impressive how wrong you got. You think even just like fluking it, you'd get something right.
Consider, Laurie, I know nothing about games, and apparently I also know nothing about football. I contribute nothing to this.
No, don't we know it? I can't even edit properly.
Okay. Hey.
So, we're going to whiz through this weekend's fixtures, and all of us are going to predict, and then we're going to see who comes out on top, and whoever loses buys a round at EGX. Deal?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, all right. So, Laurie,
Carl.
West Ham versus Chelsea is the early... Oh,
Carl, nice cheap beer at EGX, Carl.
Thanks,
So
mate.
get
Yeah,
ready
I know,
for
yeah.
sales.
No, old-fashioned.
£25 a
Okay.
pint. Okay, so West Ham versus Chelsea, early kickoff. Laurie, what are you saying?
0-0.
0-0, thank you. Carl?
2-0 West Ham.
You're a dickhead. 2-0. I'm saying it's going to be a 1-1.
Really?
Okay, yeah.
You're not even backing yourself?
Aston Villa versus...
How you do it? So you get result and then extra points for getting the right score?
You get the point if you get the result. You get 3 points if you get the result right. Okay, so Aston Villa versus Wolves. Laurie?
2-1 Villa.
2-1 the Villa.
Up the Villa.
I'm going to go for 2-0. Carl?
1-0.
Ooh, he's playing the game. Fulham versus Newcastle. Laurie?
I'm going to say 3-0 to Newcastle.
0-3. I'm going to say... You know what? I'm going to try and pip it here. I'm going to say Fulham 2, Newcastle 1.
Ooh, controversial.
Carl?
I'm going for a 1-0 Newcastle.
I like their manager,
I love
the
one.
Portuguese manager.
Love one.
Hold on, you've put him.
sorry.
You've put him 1-0 for them.
Okay.
Sabotaging.
Leicester versus Everton, the 3 p.m. kickoff, home at Leicester. Laurie?
1-0.
Ooh. First point of the season for Everton, if that goes right. I'm going to say 1-2, so Everton are going to win 2-1.
I'm going to say
Carl?
3-2.
Imagine.
With the caveat that Everton will score 2 goals. Leicester score 3.
And they're not going to score in the 60th minute. Liverpool versus Bournemouth, Laurie.
2-0. They're not going to lose 2 weeks.
I'm going to say, I think you'll bounce back, but it's going to be 2-2. And Carl?
A Desmond.
Outrageous.
Desmond 2-2.
A Desmond, yeah. I'm going to say Bournemouth. I'm going to say 1-0.
To Bournemouth.
That would be love one.
Laurie, Southampton versus Ipswich Town.
1-0 Southampton.
Southampton. I'm going to say 1-1.
I'm going to say 0-0.
0-0. Oof.
2 shit teams.
Nice. Spurs versus Brentford, Laurie. 3 p.m.
Two
kickoff.
shit teams. 0-0.
0-0.
Ooh.
I'm going to say 0-0.
I'm going to say 2-0 Tottenham. Come on, mate.
All right, mate. Come on, mate. And the 5:30 kickoff is Crystal Palace versus Man United.
Come on, there, Palace.
Man United are going to win that 1-0.
1-0.
You'll never come back.
I'm going to say...
Other way around.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to say 2-1. Carl?
I'm going to say 1-0 Palace.
Both reckon Palace are going to beat Man U.
Poor Matt.
Absolutely.
Sunday kickoff. First one. Brighton
Just
versus
say that,
Nottingham
both from
Forest. Brighton versus Nottingham. Laurie.
2-1 Forest.
I'm going to say 2-1 Brighton. Carl.
It's like 0-1. Forest love a 1-0 win, so
0-1. So
1-0 to Forest.
not
And
picking
then
Brighton.
Then the
Interesting.
big one. Then the big one. Yeah, but that's where my dad lives, so.
Manchester City versus Arsenal.
Title decider.
Yeah.
At the start of the season.
How fucking dare you?
6-pointer.
Yeah, I'm desperate for Arsenal to win it, but I'm going to say 0-0 just because these games are always.
I'd take that. I'd take that. Fucking hell.
I'm going to say 2-1 City.
I'm going to say, 2-1 City. Yeah.
There we go, locked in. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what those results are like next week.
Haaland to score twice.
I'm gonna get killed again.
Typically, we're going to quickly dodge over into Carl's nerdy corner. Laurie, you can pretend to fall asleep during this, but Carl, do you want to explain what you want to talk about this week?
Just gonna check my phone.
So I saw a piece of news this week that Microsoft are looking. Oh, you're an asshole. That Microsoft are looking to make changes to remove functionality which from like the kind of base operating system in the kernel, meaning that anti-cheat will be affected. It'll also affect things like antivirus. So Norton will be pissed off. But what I thought was interesting about it is like consoles like the Steam Deck. There are titles that because it's a Linux-based operating system they can't play. So like EAFC can't play that because it's got like the anti-cheat on there. So it's a big move from Microsoft. But it's a positive move for the kind of open source community because it means that it opens up a lot of games that before were not available. So yeah, I just thought it was cool. Really, should we skip by it? Yeah,
That's really interesting. Okay, so moving away from the nerdy corner. Thanks for that, Carl. So we did a £10 challenge where we walked around town for about 3.5 weeks to try and find something that we want to spend £10 on. Laurie's going to be the adjudicator of this. So, Carl, what did you manage to get for £10 that you think can beat my £10?
So I have two options.
That's not going to be. Were they under £10?
So I paid £20 for two items. So I can either show two now, and then next week I can do a different one, or I can just show one.
No, gamble. Come on, pick one.
Come on, pick one. Yeah.
Okay.
Have some balls, mate. Come on.
So for £10, I got Banjo-Kazooie on the N64.
More
That's
okay.
pretty good for £10.
That's pretty good. Okay, Dan, that was the right choice because Dan's going to have to do pretty well. I fucking love Banjo-Kazooie. Just to... No pressure there, Dan.
£10? I was so happy. That was by the train station as well. I do. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. I from childhood, I've still got it, and I've got all my old. When I was drunk one night, doesn't happen often. I rebought all like the old games I had when I was a child, and then one of the guys in work 3D printed like an N64 cartridge storage thing for me. It's so cool. I'll send you a photo later.
Yeah, please do. I don't know what happened to my N64. I think I just threw it away one day. I don't know. I've got no idea what happened to it. I could not tell you. Go on, Dan. So what can you?
So
here we go. I'm excited.
Really
I don't know, by the way. I don't know what he's got.
So I found it's called a Bobble Buddy, and it's of Roger Lloyd Pack, aka Trigger from Only Fools and Horses.
How much was that?
£6.
That's very good, to be fair.
Look at him, he's got a little pint. All right, Dave.
All right, Dave.
All right, Dave. Talking about his broom. So there you go. I mean, that was mine. I also got this really shit thing, which doesn't really count, but I got this from
CX.
AliExpress. So it's like it says 400 games on it. Absolutely doesn't have 400 games. There's one game on there just called Turtle. It just doesn't work. It just takes you to a black screen.
Mbappe.
Mbappe. Whoa. So you got two options, either Chinese or English. So you go in English. There's Super Mario 14.
The best one.
Not joking. There's genuinely, I don't even know if that focus in. Let me see if it.
Why are you doing this? This isn't even from CX though. This is not.
No, this is just from AliExpress. This is just £6.
He's just trying to curry favour.
Mario 3 is funny because when you boot it up, the the Mario symbol doesn't work. It just comes up with a 3.
I mean, if that swerves copyright, then
Well, that's basically what I
could be
think it's
anything
doing.
you're playing.
So it's good. It's interesting. And then the music's a bit weird as well. So
How weird.
I know it's not working. Oh. That's fine.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a classic game, however you play it.
How much you pay, Dan?
That was £6.
That's incredible. That is incredible for £6.
And Jesse loves it.
And if he throws it across the room and breaks it, how much do you care?
Already happened once. Kit did that because he didn't understand it and just thought he could lash it. So there you go. Laurie, who's won, mate?
Well, Banjo-Kazooie is a fantastic game, and £10 is a good price for it, and I admire Man that's rebuilding his N64 collection, but the little trigger guy, that is a bit more random. Like something I wasn't expecting to see. And I like the idea, buying Banjo-Kazooie from CEX was quite predictable. That is, you bought that from CEX?
Yep.
Sure.
Do you know how hard it is to find things that are cool from CX? Like, he's bought a fucking figurine made out of plasticine.
Yeah, I mean,
that he's never going to use again.
I'm just impressed CX would stock such a thing. So
just
I'm
in the
going
window,
to
was
have to
like-
give the win to Dan, I'm afraid, Carl. As much as I love Banjo-Kazooie, that's a bit predictable. So it's like, that's the sort of thing you can. Every CX in the country's probably got a copy of Banjo-Kazooie, but that's probably the only trigger figure he's found.
You need to think outside the box, Carl. Megamind.
I should have gone for the fucking Connect. Or 3 Connects.
Yeah, Connect would have been good.
Right, speaking of deals, so I'm going to take Trigger out of his box.
So
now
pissed
that I've
off.
Sorry, I do
Carl,
love Banjo-Kazooie.
I had a question. I'm going to buy another one now. So, out of curiosity, I got that for £8. Would that have been a better...
I mean, probably not, but like, it's still pretty cool. And I remember
£8.
buying one of those. I remember buying the expansion pack and like fawning over that and being like, literally, it's the most ugly thing you could ever buy.
Just the little red thing you put inside the slot.
Yeah.
You feel like you're absolutely some sort of model.
It's head bubbles as well.
Look
alcoholic.
It's been open for like 30 years and you've just cracked it open to bobble it.
Well, it's open now. Cool, isn't it? You can go over there. That's going to get messed up by the kids. Carl, what's your deal of the week? You've put fucking...
It's a deal. It's a steal.
I mean, to be fair, so this is a great deal. This should win hands down. So my deal of the week is there's an online retailer for bikes called Planet X, and effectively they are just like a reseller of Chinese bikes. So keep that in mind. Road bikes, yeah. They do all sorts. They do all sorts. They do like cargo bikes, mountain bikes, gravel bikes, whatever. So it's a fully carbon bike with SRAM Rival 22 for £1,000.
Is that good?
It's incredible. Fully carbon bike with a top quality group set, top quality wheels for £1,000.
Says it should be £2,000, so you're saving £900. And you can get that on the Cycle to Work scheme if you've got one.
Can do, yeah, absolutely. If you work for a company that has those kind of perks for their employees, I mean, I don't know anybody who works for an enterprise that provides those kind of functionalities, but
I mean, if you don't work for a company that offers those sorts of perks, talk to me because that's literally my job.
Teed them up there.
Thank you.
There you go, guys. You've just been advertised to.
All one listener will have in touch.
At the Eggman64.
That's his work name.
Sorry, just quickly, you got 64 in your X handle, and you didn't give a Banjo-Kazooie.
I told you I love Banjo-Kazooie, but
Fucking horrible.
That's what I mean. But it's Trigger. Look.
I've never seen that trigger before, whereas I have seen.
Hello, Dave.
Banjo-Kazooie
There's a good reason for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a piece of shit tab, but I mean, it was the.
I lost to a piece of shit tap.
It's even his jeans. He's got little
Thing
jeans.
is, though, I can play it. I can resell it. What's he going to do with that? Well, we know what he's going to do with that, but that's not the point.
He's going to play with it. He's going to bobble it.
He's just going to bobble his head.
Bertie fucker is going to play with it. Tell you what. Anyway,
Okay, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown Standard Edition on PS5 is £19.99 over on Smiths. I had a good few hours of that game. A lot of other people absolutely loved it, so it seemed like a steal for that price as well. And you get a nice PS5 case to stick on your thing, but you can't have that with the PS5 Pro, so maybe don't consider that. Laurie, what'd you go for?
Hogwarts Legacy. It's spotted on offer at the moment, down to £22 on the PlayStation digital on the PSN store.
The deluxe edition.
Deluxe edition, yeah. It's usually £75, but I don't understand because I looked at it to see what the fuck you get with the digital, the deluxe edition, and it's like some extra outfits to wear. And if anyone plays that game, you get outfits fucking thrown at you
Constantly.
more outfits than you could ever do
Yeah.
anything with. You're constantly deleting or just destroying the outfits so you can carry more of them. So I wouldn't pay much attention to the fact this is a deluxe edition. But even the base game, £22.50, that is a bargain for that game. It's a really good game.
Yeah, it's like spiritual successor to Bully. Because it was just that. Never played Bully. Oh, what a game.
No.
But like literally going around the school, like playing pranks, enjoying yourself, but you're just in the Hogwarts universe. So, yeah.
Yeah,
great.
I mean, to use a Dan term here, it absolutely nails the aesthetic.
We haven't said we said
I was-
Zeitgeist and we got that one. Get your bingo cards out, guys.
I was genuinely impressed by how the music of it is fantastic. Oh, the developers there, the colour of the music is so good. All the way through it, the music is fantastic. It really does conjure up the atmosphere. The combat is really good. The progression and the way you kind of unlock spells. I was absolutely blown away by it. I'm so glad they're making a sequel, and it's not going to be a games as a service thing. They're making a proper sequel to it. So.
Did you say it's definitely guaranteed now as well, isn't it? Like they've announced that it's going to go into production. I'm just checking.
And it's still selling huge copies, like huge numbers.
Yeah.
It's like one of those games that's just been parked in the top 10. And for £22, if you haven't played it yet, that is an absolute steal.
It's nice that it's coming back, and you know what? As long as Warner Brothers doesn't fuck up the television show, and you get a reimagining of the Harry Potter films now or the books rather, in the television format, which is a hit, and then on top of that, you got a great Hogwarts Legacy 2 game, arguably one of the best fantasy series out there. So it'd be quite interesting to see how that pans out. All right.
Can I ask, have either of you played the Quidditch game?
No. I know it was free on PS Plus, I think. So, but I didn't have any appetite to pick it up at
It's
all.
one of those games that even free, I've got no interest in playing.
No, it looked like the what was it called? Blitzball in Final Fantasy X. Have you ever seen that? But like literally looks like it plays like that, and I was like, I've got no interest in wasting my time on it. So,
Dan, whilst I've got you on a pod, how have you not played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth yet?
I have. I've got it there. I've just played like an hour of it. So,
Well, okay.
literally an hour of it.
Man. It's so good.
It's
so good.
honestly time for me at the moment trying to get to these games, and I just keep on starting things. And Carl's like, "Do you want to play FIFA?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go on." Then. So like, hence why I start a casual podcast about games where I can just talk about the news and enjoy that part, and not have the pressure to play as many as I used to.
Fair enough.
But it's 100. Like I put this out a while ago, going. I've got Red Dead Redemption 2. I've got that. I've got honestly
Have your list surely by now.
honestly, games. I've still got Elden Ring to kind of go through the DLC. Then I've got, what else am I looking up there? I've still not played Ragnarok. I've only played like an hour and a half of that.
Oh my god, man.
I haven't finished Last of Us Part 2. I
Oh
haven't
my God,
I haven't
man.
finished Tears of the Kingdom yet. I've still got about an hour on that left. I still haven't finished Persona 5 Royal, which I started like however many years ago. It's one of my favourite games. So yeah, I've got a long list, Laurie, that it is definitely in there. And to be fair, I say I played an hour of it. I think I probably played a little bit more. Absolutely fucking loved everything I played, and you could see it was a marked improvement on the first one. So, and I even like the fact that they're fucking up the story beats and going off in a different path with it. So, but yeah, I will play it. Definitely will.
Thank you.
Mark my words. All right, guys.
7 out of
Anything
10.
else, Carl, from you? Any more nerdy things you want to talk about, or you spent?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. How did Liverpool finish?
We are winning 3-1. We're extra time.
Okay.
Not that I'm following it. I'm focused.
Laurie, anything you want to plug?
No, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, Carl, for this last hour. It's been great to join you for a pod. So,
You
yeah.
lying sod.
Thanks, Carl. No, it's been thanks for having me on. If anyone does want to listen to VR, they can listen to Cross Button VR. Find that, watch us on there. But yeah, no, it's just great to be on. Thank you.
Pleasure, mate. It's always a pleasure. Nice to see you again. And next time I owe you a coffee, I think. So
Well, EGX, there'll be time. We'll see you
there
there.
we go.
And
Would be a coffee.
I'll owe you a beer because I'm going to
Yep.
lose. So
Beer.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Impromptu voice break. So there we go. Beers at EGX. It is nailed on. We have been casual mode every Friday on YouTube and Spotify, as long as Carl pulls his finger out. I did say originally more to come, including Pocket Casts. We're now on Pocket Casts because Carl set that up when it works, when he wants it to work. Please tell your friends and keep it casual. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.